Greetings and welcome. I'm Rebecca Carner, Biofield tuner, and today's tune-up is just a tune-up. Everything all the work that I've been doing lately and all of the just experiences that have been making themselves known to me over the past couple of weeks, we're just going to tune. We are going to tune so that every person who is here right now, thank you for joining, and everyone who finds this video eventually will get the tuning and the promotion of coherency and harmonization that they need. Whether you're integrating things, whether you're in transition, whatever you've got going on, we are just going to tune in. And I am going to start with an incredibly thorough grounding. You know what? I'm going to do a quick adjustment. Thanks. Everyone just breathe and arrive into your present moment, into your now body and now experience. I am filming this at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there is a streak of sun. I don't know if you can, I know you can't see it, but anyway, there is a streak of sun hitting the very bottom of my left ankle and calf. And as I was grounding the entire collective field, as always, I was using my own body as a template, and I was really arriving to my feet and just feeling the temperature differential of the streak of sun hitting my ankle. So near to the ground. And just arriving into your physicality, your connectedness to your humanness as it is on this earth. In this now moment, as Kelly Kolodny says. And just for one moment, being with this sort of symphony of miracles that is. The miracle of magnificence, molecular magic, right? That we are. I started with the 144. I'm going to switch to the 174, which is a little bit different tone. A little bit different tone. All right, we're going to do a little shake 'em up. I'm actually going to use a non-fork tool for just a second. I'm going to use a little bit of rattling. It's like the constant tension between. I was having a hard time getting the frequencies to ground because it's like it feels like the whole collective field is truly. It's everybody writ large is just trying to quote keep it together, right? Wow, wow, yeah, right. That's a thing. That's a thing. To ground, you really can just set it down and connect, right? In just a breath. It's not that you're going to let it all fall apart or let everything on your plate fall off, right? That's not what grounding is. Mm, mm, mm. Grounding is establishing an effective bridge that lets your organic meat suit be in correct exchange, in right relationship, electrically and electromagnetically with the broader universe. Please pardon me, I am having to do one thing. There are thank you. There, this grounding. It is right relationship for an even exchange. So often with my clients, I talk about the sort of messaging and frequencies that we have picked up along the way from others, from culture, literally from the collective field of noise that is out there. And if we cycle them and cycle them and cycle them through our psyche, through our subconscious, through our electrical system, through our thoughts, it becomes like dirty aquarium water that just keeps cycling through the same dirty filter, right? And grounding in biofield tuning is literally an effective discharge of anything that is crunked up, smirky, murky, smudged, schmutzy, yucky, not for you, to use spiritual speak, that what is no longer serving. Okay, fine. If you've truly appropriately identified something that isn't serving, but it's sort of in your cosmology, right? It's in your inner system. How do you divest yourself of that, right? Grounding offers a discharge. It doesn't mean sitting there being completely zen. I mean, it can look like that. But in biofield tuning, what we're doing is we're establishing appropriate nodes of effective discharge so that we can then cleanly recharge, sort of upcharge, if you will, right? Um, there, 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 there. And breathe. All right, I'm going to do sort of one more. There we go. There we go. That's right. That's right. Good. Great. Good. Really good, right? You guys, the collective fear, the collective uncertainty, when you ground, it diminishes, not because real life gets somehow further away, right? It's but because you're able to hold the context of it more appropriately, right? More gently, if you will. All right, I'm going to check in with the collective sort of vagal tone and vagus nerve. This is not a Biofield tuning fork. This is one of my own, but I'm going to listen into the collective vagal tone. Shoo-wee. The fatigue is the first thing that I notice. There, that's brightening up just a little bit. I just, I can't change any of that right now, but the honoring of the fatigue. I recently had the profound privilege of receiving the gift of a trip to an incredibly low density area, right? I went to Cumberland Island, which is a barrier island right at the Georgia-Florida line. That is a national undeveloped seashore island. And going from Atlanta, right, the greater Atlanta area, which I don't know what our current populace is, but it's millions, right? My broader environment, I share with millions of people. And I went from that, how many cell phone towers, how many cars, how many smart meters, how many house Wi-Fi, apartment Wi-Fis, how many people's thoughts, cares, concerns, fears all around me all the time to this not distantly remote, but remote island in that it is removed from the mainland and it is undeveloped by design. I'm sorry, what? Undeveloped by design. Those places are rarer and rarer on this entire globe. And my nervous system, like the way it felt was it was palpable. The reduced atmospheric density. And it was so notable to me. And the restoration that it provided my system. It's like when I felt the fatigue with the nerve fork in the vagus, in the collective vagal tone. It's like I just, today's tuning, I think, is just called a general tune-up, Biofield tuning and transmission. So as I tune the collective field, I will also include in my heart's song and my heart's transmission for this work, for myself and for us all, my remembering of just a week ago today, being in that environment and the differential and what it offered my system. May that be the equivalent of the 4-minute mile, right? That I talk about it often in these tunings, that when you put it in the collective field, in the zeitgeist, if you will, right, that the first time that a human ran a 4-minute mile, people thought it could never be done. And then the minute somebody did it, other people were able to do it, right? It's that corresponding quantum truth of when something lives into its potentiality, it makes it therefore all the easier for others to connect with that same potential and express it, right? I feel like as I did the sort of check-in over all of the energy centers, the area that called for tuning was the solar plexus region, right? On the sort of traditional 7 chakra series, the solar plexus is the yellow one. And it is the way we express our I amness in the world. Okay, other than the fatigue, the other thing that's really coming up that I can't not speak into is just under fatigue. It just feels like this cushion of grief. The sort of visual I'm getting on it is like when you wear shoes that rub and you get a blister, but it doesn't break, right? It just becomes this sort of poofy water blister as the skin separates, right? And so it's like the first layer of skin is fatigue, and then under it is just this reservoir of grief. I'm not getting a lot of story on it. It's sort of nameless and faceless, but it is. I mean, I guess, yeah, and now this is so hot. I mean, just this morning, you can't make this up, right? I didn't know what I was going to find in today's tuning, but just this morning, I was reading an article that was really marrying together the two frequencies of grief, and it was really suggesting that unprocessed grief is sort of hand in hand in dance with creative, generative, uprising energy, right? Our creative force. But unpacking grief, being with those feelings, right? It's like trying to get a dog or a cat in their go box when they know that they're gonna go to the vet and they don't want to go, right? It's like, no, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. But literally, if right, like if if one's outward judgment is in one-to-one, is in direct correspondence with one's sort of low self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of worthiness, right? The sort of judgier and snarkier a person is, generally, the worser they feel about themselves really, truly, deeply inside, right? However masked it is. This is a corollary that is absolutely always there. And in that same way, any unprocessed grief is in sort of one-to-one correspondence with one's inability to be generative, right? And as always, underneath so much grief, there is often an embedded nugget of fear, because often we can we can come into acceptance of the loss of the thing, of the person, of the job, of the home, of the whatever. But then places where we get stuck in grief, it's sort of secondary, if you will, in that it really exposes then our scarcity, right? Our fear of the lack, like, because that is gone, while ultimately I am accepting that the thing is gone, the ideal, the ideology, the belief, the hope, the person, the animal, the whatever. It's like we can just about wrap our heads and our hearts around the loss of the thing, but what then that grief secondarily exposes is the open place, right? The gap that was created. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my gosh. And right there, right? So, I mean, they're kind of showing me the visual I'm getting is like a kid who just lost like that front tooth, and you see that big gap right there. It's adorable. And like when we see that, we know, oh, the grown-up tooth, the big kid tooth is coming up, right? It's like when we see that on others, when we see that naturally, we know that the thing is coming, that the next thing is coming. That is natural progression, right? That is source intelligence. That is divine law. Yeah. But when we're holding that momentarily open bag, right, empty bag, that then needs to be filled with creative, generative newness, we kind of glitch up a little bit. Whoa. There. Nice. Nice. All right. Oh, wow. It is not ready to calm up. All right. I'm going to come back and tune this side of the solar plexus. I kind of did both sides, but I'm using a few different frequencies. And when I went to sort of blend it all together, if you will, it wasn't ready yet. So I'm going to come on this side, right? Ooh, yeah, okay. All right, I'm getting very sort of clear indications about some of the holdup right here. And I am also being prompted that like any English words that I say are too messy. And would defeat the attempt at coherence. So I'm going to switch into another vocal tool. Ukanara ausana autene wahana atana a. Kura sanula. Kura sanula tana awane tana hala atana askana iwatana e watana e. Arakanas, 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 and Awatana, Iwalakanas, and Uwantane, Iwa Atana, who Iwanu Utini Mane. I could barely not sob, you guys, the release of grief. Huro nonoskane iwatana awalatana eta awahena awa. Hetana awatanewa. Huena. Huena. Sort of ook. Sort of ook. Hotana away. Hotana away. Karakadik. Karakadik. Really good job. You see, and just like that, right? Things can be so hard and so thoroughly unpleasant, right? Unpleasant. That's such a nice word. Something can just be that the worstness, but it cycles through. It cycles through quickly if you can lean in. I'm getting the visual of a neti pot, right? If anybody knows that nasal cleansing technique. If you've ever snorted saline solution, friends, initially it's not super awesome, but man, it's a good thing, right? That's like emotions. If you suppress them, if you backlog them, they do not go away. If you deny their existence and subconsciously or consciously think, I turned that signal off in me, you're wrong. You can't not human. You can't not human. None of us can. And if you're trying to convince yourself that you can, I truly, with such deep understanding and love, I tell you, you're lying. You're lying to yourself, and you are wrong. You are misguided, right? If things truly aren't right or wrong, okay, fair enough. But that is a miscreated concept. They are there. The emotions are there. You can dampen them, you can stifle them, you can anesthetize them, you can bury them under so many padded blankets of denial, suppression, repression, addiction, anesthesia. Avoidance. Yeah, there we go. But they are not there. Oh. And we can ask for help to sift and sort through them. You can ask for, if you are truly scared shitless to sit in them by yourself, ask for help. Ask for somebody. I mean, literally, friends, not only is that why I am here, there are so many other types of professionals. Friends, loved ones, professionals, strangers, free meetings that you can go to and find people to sit with you while you do what seems overwhelming and super terrifying. But it can be done, and the only way to the brightness and the lightness and the capacity and the playfulness and the creativity on the other side is through. The only way. The only way. Yeah, there. Oh my gosh, there. Wow, something just totally resolved in my belly. Really good work. There are free online meetings. I mean, if, again, I'm so used to being proximate. There's Al-Anon meetings and AA meetings and, in however many churches within 2 miles of me, and I get used to that context. But if you are remote, there are free Zoom meetings. Look up support, look up emotional support, look up free meetings online. Really good. Really good. Really good. Really good. Really good work. There is a certain YouTube channel wherein a former photographer sits and does sort of long form interviews with people. And some of them are wonderful, and some of them I think expose his lack of clinical trauma training, quite frankly. Um, but one thing that is so beautiful about his body of work is the, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 that I've watched, and he has many videos. People, the most unsuspecting people's genius, their tenderness, their vulnerability about their humanity, the way they've understood and contextualized their lives. I mean, he has the sort of he has sort of experts in national and international names in their fields type people, but his sort of shtick is to interview sex workers and incest survivors and um, gang members and murderers and ex-cons and this sort of thing. And I mean, these are people who have just been people in their whole lives, right? These are not paid actors, they're not somebody who studied this and then are portraying this, right? These are people incredibly candidly. Some of them are quite young, and they're, I mean, under unimaginable horrors of upbringings, and their ability to make sense and persevere and survive is so heartrending and touching. And everyone, I think I've teared up like on every single one of them, right? Except for maybe a sort of cocky expert or two that he's had on there. But every one where somebody's telling their life story, I've teared up in every one because just the humbling magnificence of the human heart really comes out. And I really give him credit for making the space for that in every one that I have watched. It is truly touching. And as I tune in this collective field of all of our ways that we express our I amness, everyone who finds this video, any energy that is silently looking for this tuning out in the ether, whether they find Rebecca Karner on YouTube or not, that is how this works. That is how this work works. We are synergizing that, synthesizing that, integrating it into our central energy wheel. And in my mind, when I do the Biofield tuning technique of, quote, columning up, literally what I'm imagining is like as I put it into the chakra wheel, right, as I put it into the energy nexus, and then take the frequencies and column it up, not only am I connecting it up to source or whatever makes you feel good along that lines, but I also think of it as sort of drawing into perpetuity in what we experience as a timeline, right? our ability to then take this coherence and manifest it as we step forward, right, into our current I am now progression to the next and to the next and to the next moment, to the forward, 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 if you will. Nice, right? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It can. You, yes, you can. We can. There is a way forward that isn't just about passing time or getting by. It's about creating and co-creating heart desire, our hearts desires and desire, right? Because, like, if we are a fractal, right? So each one of our hearts, plural, possessive, each one of our hearts desires, but then each of our heart, singular, collective, singular, possessive, our heart's desire, which is then one beautiful, incredibly complex, incredibly magnificent. Yeah, we can. It is a thing. It is magnificent. I know we are seeing everything what is not magnificent out there right now. I know it. I know it. I mean, truly, I'm not under a rock, friends. I am not. I am not. I know we are seeing, I know. We're really, Rebecca, we're seeing a lot that's not magnificent. I know. I know. All right, let's start again. I feel like there was some graphic in one of the Harry Potter movies where, like, Dumbledore or somebody, right, takes something and he takes his little wand and almost like a wisp of smoke, right, he kind of draws it out and I don't know, does something magical. Okay, fine. But it's that same thing. Okay, so let's everybody kind of fell back into the news headlines as I was talking just there. See, that's the problem with English. It hangs you up a little bit. That's why I switched to light language and more lately. Okay, so let's try that again. Anybody who finds this video, I know you have love in your heart. God, and again with the emotion, the weeping. Oh, that's right. I see you. That's right. That's right. And here's the ruse, right? Here's the thing. We all have that in us. I know you are beautiful. I know I want love and beauty. Right? We all have that. Right. Right. That's right. That's right. I'm going to sneak in a little. That's right. That's what we're going to make. That's it. That's it. That's it. Let's do another one. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. There. That. And voila. Et voila. It is just there. We did it. We did it. It is true. It is true. All right. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. That was amazing. That was amazing. Okay. Really good. Really good. It's like our minds. Our minds. It's like I have to. I had to kind of sneak that in, and now I'm wrapping it. It's like I'm wrapping it up into the energetic burrito. Hurry quick before our minds muck us up, right? Nice. Oh, nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Nice. Ah, you guys, thanks for joining. This was brilliant. This was brilliant. We did a general tune-up. Thank you, thank you. If you're in the Atlanta area, I have a in-person event this Sunday at 3 p.m. We're doing a 2-hour gongs and tuning forks transmission into deep time as a way to ground us. Details on that are on my Instagram channel, and or you can reach out through my website and send an inquiry, and I'll send you the link to register. I love you. I love you. We're doing this. We are making it. It is tilt-a-whirl out there. And this is how we do it, friends. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm here. Until the next time.